that's how that works. Alrighty, guys. So, what am I here to talk about on this stream? Sorry, I've been a little bit quiet up until this point. I wanted to break off for a second and talk about gaming systems. There are obviously a ton, and I have probably used almost every single one that I could find, at least here in the US. Obviously no funny, I don't know, one of the gazillion weird Japanese things or whatever. Okay, I'm not even gonna go there. There's some really weird stuff there. But what have I done? I've got some cool stuff. Now I'm in the middle of signing up for Fortnite for PC. I already have it on the Switch, and honestly, I've yet to try it, so I don't know how well it's gonna work. In fact, I don't believe I've ever played Fortnite. I've seen the videos, I've seen the gameplay, I understand the concept, all that kind of stuff, but I have yet to actually play it. It looks fun, it really does. And this laptop, as I explained in the previous stream, should more than be able to handle this really well. I should be able to max this at 75 FPS all the time. Now with the new computer, I'm not going to give you any specs, that way I'm not giving it away. That one should be able to pretty close to double that without even trying. Yeah, oh boy, I'm looking forward to that, buddy. Dude, that's going to be a sweet series of videos. Heck yes. So give me a second, let me sign into here, and I will be right back up with you guys. Oh, I can never remember this. Oh, what is this? CJ Jefferson G? Oh, Christ. Alright, I've changed it so many times I can't remember my Steam login anymore. How bad is that? Well, I'm starting up Steam here. I'm going to... Whoops, go away. New. It's not updating, that's fine. Ah, dang it. What is it? FZPNZW. There it is. Aha. Alright, gotta check my email real quick. We should have a login here. I almost wish you guys could see this, but I don't want to give you too much information. Let's see. Steam support. And let's go ahead and check out Steam. I want to see if... Alright, it wouldn't have showed up there. The game's connected, blah, 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 blah. Alright, go into here. Yes, and do web connections. Okay. Installing. So let's see what we got. Alright, so we are downloading. Holy crap, how big is that? This is going to be a big game. $11.3 gigabytes. Now that's a decent game. Final Fantasy 15 was upwards of 80 gigabytes. And I think it's even beyond that with some extras and add-ons and whatever. So, in general, this is not massive. So I'm currently writing as I download, I'm writing at 325 megabytes a second. Roughly, okay. And I'm downloading at about 8 megabytes a second. So it's downloading compressed, and as it downloads, it's uncompressing it, and that's where I'm getting the 320 megabytes a second write time. So this should be relatively fast. Since I started, it's already at 20%. Doing pretty good here. So while that's working on its thing, do I really have two windows open? What is going on here? Let's kill that. All right. Okay, so we'll leave that open. Also, what I want to talk about is gaming, because I'm not switching my channel over to gaming necessarily. No, I do still want to do a bunch of 3D printing videos. I do plan on doing some more with drones. I just kind of need to get there. I have some other projects I need to work on. Some other custom things. Which, by the way, I think I can show you guys here. So some of you know that I am the creator of the Nintendo Switch cooling mod, and I now have a new version, which when you order from my eBay listing is what all the new ones will be. So I've changed a few things. I've reduced the amount of material slightly. It's not a huge step down, but it's a little bit. I've changed the thickness at the bottom so it's all the same. It's a little bit more robust and sturdy. I've widened some of the pieces where the plastic inserts into it, so you have less chance of breaking things. That's always good. I've changed few of the angles internally to more force the air, kind of curve the air down in rather than having it bounce off of a hard wall, create turbulence. I wanted this to be about as smooth as possible. And I've reduced some of the height in certain places so that there's less chance that it will put pressure on parts of the circuit board, namely the USB port. So here is, I'm going to show you the old one, or an old one, I guess. So here is, that down for a second. Wow, this is really going to be bad, isn't it? Okay, so here is an old one here. Yeah, there's no good way to this, okay? So because it's black, it kind of sucks. So these pieces up top here have been redone. They've been widened up a little bit. The height here has been dropped down. And inside the back here, I really wish this had better lighting. I guess that's all right. And inside the back in here has a little bit better curvature. So the new one, I'll pull these up side by side, the same way here. Is this guy. So you can see already there's a bit of a shape difference. Ever so slight. But this does allow for a little bit less material, and it might not be readily apparent. If you can see kind of back there, back in this corner, it's rounded now, so it's actually more of a, I took a cylinder cutout instead of a hard 45-degree angle. So the air coming in, instead of hitting the wall and coming straight down, kind of just bashing in, hits more of a curve and is gradually forced down in. This is what all the new ones are going to be. This thing almost just straight drops right in. You almost don't even have to push it. You know, it does kind of click into place a little bit. I am currently printing in a slightly lower quality material. This is my black. It's not fantastic, but in order to keep costs down, that's what I'm doing. I made one, and this is actually a mistake. I made a couple. There are a couple things I forgot to change on this one, so this one's actually trash. But this is the current mod. So I guess this would be version 4, I believe. So yeah, new version is now out. I'm actually going to change. I need to change the listing on eBay to reflect that, and probably even upload some new pictures. But yes, this version is now much better, and should. I'm not sure if it works better necessarily, but you know, as some of you get to testing that, we will find out. But for now, I will set this guy off to the side. So we're at 39%. All right, we are cooking with fire. All right, so as far as gaming, take another drink. So, what do I have to game on? Well, obviously, I spend most of my time here on the laptop. Love this thing. Oh, God, almost couldn't live without it. I have Yes.
Will you take a picture of that headboard and put it up?
The one I'm done here.
Thank you. Bye.
So I can't pull this completely off the wall. It's currently attached, as you can kind of tell here. Raspberry Pi here. I use this for two things. One, the card that's inserted currently is my system that I use for Octopi. This is how I monitor my 3D prints remotely. And if I pop in the other card, which I have sitting in a drawer down here in the desk, is used for RetroPie, and I play a lot of old NES and Super NES games on that. I do kind of want to build a cabinet with a slightly larger screen. I've got a little tiny thing, but I'd rather have like a 7-inch. As high resolution as I can get, I guess. It's actually made by Adafruit, but have its own little thing. So not only can I use it for displaying stats and boot up the working Linux environment in Octopi, but I can use it for my RetroPie and play the games on that as well. My cousin did get me, and this is really cool. I love this. And unfortunately, it's cleared the bottom. All right. Are these guys? And this is, it might be backwards in the video, I hope not. This is iNex game controllers. These are USB versions of Super NES controllers with color-coded pads. So some of you probably remember the Super NES. This is exactly like the SNES. Oh my gosh, it looks, it feels, it almost weighs the same. Almost. I mean, I might open it up and put like a weight in it, just to give it a little bit more of a hefty feel. But these are really cool. And it is USB. So this will plug directly into the Raspberry Pi, and I can game with this. It's perfect. So I haven't actually used them since last year. I'm still working on building the cabinet. which now that I have a 3D printer, I will be 3D printing the cabinet. And that's the other thing, is you can never get these back in the box the way you found them. That goes with anything, right? Okay. The other thing that I have, and I've been keeping a hold of this for a long time. If any of you remember Acid Mods, it was a modder site back in, I think I joined in 2008 or 2009. It's been a long time. And I worked on the original, what they called the FAT PSP, the PSP 1000. So I did mods, I did the Homebrew Buttons at the bottom. I was the first one to have them be fully lit with one LED for each button and still be fully functional. Other people had them lit, but they lost functionality. Some people would put in clear buttons, but they couldn't get them to light. I'll have to drum the link back up, but I was the first one to get them all lit and still be fully functional. And that took a long time. I think it took me like 3 months to get them working. I don't have that particular PSP anymore, but I do still have this one. Ooh. It's stuck here. I'm going to okay, so I still have this one here. Now, this one is still modded with here we go. Is still modded with some LEDs in the triggers and sound reactive speaker LEDs. I've changed the power, the Wi-Fi, and the Memory Stick Pro. Jeez, that was an odd card, wasn't it? I've changed those LEDs to something else, and the side effect of the Wi-Fi LED is it sort of lights up the clear joystick. Now, like I said, this one still has the original black, piano black factory Homebrew buttons in it. The one that I had where I'd done this, I actually sold to someone from Acid Mods. So I no longer have it. So I actually bought another one. I think this might actually ended up as being my 8th or 9th PSP, I think. I went through a lot of these. Not broken. I actually still have quite a few pieces in a box in the basement. But this one is fully functional. I actually bought a new faceplate because I'd actually scratched it in transport. And I might even need to replace it again, but for now it's okay. And with all of my PSPs, I remove the UMD drive. I don't use the UMD. I have custom firmware. And with that, as you can see, there's nothing. I got some red wire right in here, and that's actually for running the trigger LEDs. So I'm going to unplug this light. This will give you a slightly better idea. We're going to go ahead and power it on and show you. So it's blue instead of green. Okay, so you saw the one down here. So let's go ahead and now you might be able to see this. I do this. You can kind of see that these are blue. They are sound reactive, but obviously if I turn the sound up, I'm going to try. Let's do White Knight Chronicle. Actually, don't I have any music on here still? Yes, I do. Let's see. Let's take Final Fantasy. Everyone remembers this from Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Now, they don't go completely off. There is a little bit of residual because the speakers are powered on, but obviously it does work. It actually works really well. So the other thing is I have the, sorry, camera's over here. This is the overclocking menu, whatever, recovery menu. So I'm using 661 LME custom firmware. Last available custom firmware in LME version, and 661 is the last available firmware version from Sony for the PSP. So it is current. I'm currently at max XMB clock and max game clock, which are 333 and 166. Yes, 333 megahertz and 166 megahertz. Not necessarily quick by today's standards, but for what this did, it was actually very good. It was a very, very capable system. I have plugin managers. I don't really use a lot of plugins, but they are there if I decide to. We go in here to recovery. All right, I don't know how much of this you guys are actually going to be able to read. Probably none, because it doesn't seem to want to focus on it. Oh, that's terrible. Okay. But, so toggle USB configuration. I can run a custom program in PSP Game Recovery eBoot. There's some advanced stuff, CPU speeds, plugins, registry hacks, stuff under miscellaneous. I'm backing out now and going back into the main system. Okay, so another thing that was extremely useful, and let me turn this volume off. Volume was at max. Another thing that was extremely useful on this was the Pandora Battery. I don't know if any of you guys remember Pandora batteries. Basically, I have the one that's in it plus two more. These are genuine Sony batteries, the only ones that they actually work on. The knockoffs, they don't work. They're somehow wired a little bit differently. So I always bought the originals. These stupid things are still ungodly expensive. You can't buy them brand new from the manufacturer. Obviously they don't make it anymore. But if someone still owns one that's new in a box that's never been used, you can buy those up until stock is out. So at some point you're going to have something that's going to be so dead you can't use it, and there's really no way to replace it. It's just inevitable. It's the way it goes. But both of these are what they call Pandora batteries, and they have a different setting in them that when booted up allows you to do various things, including install custom firmware. So let me scroll down here. It might even be the very last one, PSP Filer. Okay, so this one, which is UPT, Ultimate Pandora Tool. This thing, I'd talked to the guy, Magnatech, long time ago, and I had helped him test this a number of different times. This thing, this is the tool. Like, this is the tool that you need if you want to get your PSP hacked. So we're going to head into it real quick. I really wish I could show this on a screen. I just don't have any way to capture the video. Alright, so we have a little splash screen. There we are. So in here, I'm going to see if I can read this while you guys are looking at it. We have IPL. In fact, let me try something here. Alright, so we have the IPL, and it gives you the stages in which to do things. So stage 1 would be the IPL. So we can install the Time Machine IPL to the memory stick boot sector. You can install the standard IPL to the boot sector, which just allows it to boot up normally. Stage 2 for the battery. The current serial for a Pandora battery is all zeros, what you see here, or in this case, auto boot. Service battery is what that's called here, but Pandora battery, whatever. Normal or normal battery is a random serial other than all zeros. You can obviously restore it from a bin if you like a specific one. You can create a backup of it. Those are your options there. For firmware, you can clean memory stick for a fresh install of Ultimate Pandora tool. That's what that's for. And last one is utilities. So we have Mux 2.1, PSP Filer, which is like Root Explorer, basically. Key Cleaner from Chili Willy, ID Storage Manager, also from Chili Willy, and Explorer from Neo. And then you can download the 1.5 kernel, which is used for some older games and booting, for 401, 390, 380, and 371, all in M33 for FAT. So those are your options. You can format and repartition the memory stick in case you have something goes wrong or you want to use a clean stick. You would use this and you go up to IPL and start from stage 1 and work your way down. You can install and remove FAT MS Mod 371, which I believe allows you to use the full capacity of a memory stick at 4 gigabytes or more on 371, which apparently had some kind of issue. And then here is PSP information. And so you get PSP model, the Tachyon, Baryon, and Pommel versions, the kernel version, NAND size, current firmware version, Magic ID, AC, whether or not it's connected, battery is charging, battery level, and battery temperature. And then obviously free memory for the system. And 1.13 gigabyte, I believe, is the amount of storage that's left on the memory stick. Excuse me. So yes, this was, and actually still is, probably the best way to work with a PSP. I might actually get into doing this a little bit more. I'd like to light up the D-pad, the star, or the triangle, square, circle, cross buttons here. And if I can, that's gonna be a lot of work, but I have some slightly better tools now. Redo all of the Homebrew buttons in clear and get them LED lit. That's gonna take a while, but I'd really like to get that done again. I think that'd be sweet. And also actually directly light, excuse me, the joystick. I am not, however, going to probably do the second joystick mod, which puts another one right about down here. It's a little more difficult to put in, and it requires some extra wiring. I could do it, but I've opted to not do it this whole time. I do have also the USB charging mod. So there's a wire from the back of one of the pins here in the USB port on the top of the motherboard that directly wires back down into the AC charging port so that when it's plugged in through USB, it charges the battery. Normally that's not how it works. You have to plug it in this way to charge it. Well, I can plug mine in from here and still charge it that way. It's a real simple one wire mod. And that was one of the first things I did. So let's go ahead and fully power this off. Okay. I'll show you here. So a memory stick I'm going to turn this light back on. Okay. So a memory stick Pro Duo, which is this general card shape, which for those of you curious, against an SD card is like this. About the same length, but definitely not the same width, and their pin pattern is not the same on the back. Now this is just an adapter. What I have is a micro SD card that I put in it. This one, I had to look at that upside down, is a 32 gigabyte card. Now this houses all of my games, all my programs, music, movies, everything I can need is on that. So yes. Well, it looks like Fortnite finished. That's pretty sweet. I may not get to that tonight, but so this guy has everything. Now I believe in here, I'm gonna look. But I think I have. Okay. All right, I probably have it tucked away somewhere. It's probably in my box in the basement, but I do have an original actual Memory Stick Pro Duo card that has all the Pandora tools and everything built onto it, and I use that only for reinstalling firmware, not for anything else. I don't store games, music, videos, nothing. None of that goes on there. This one, on the other hand, is what I do put all of my current actively working stuff on. I have been looking to see if someone might want to pick up PSP firmware and maybe make another one. But it seems it's not, I think it's kind of past its time. Which kind of sucks because this is actually a pretty good system. So I'm going to boot one up here real quick for you and just kind of show you what games looked like back then. I do need to change my brightness so I can see what I'm doing here. Quit shaking. So let's see, let's do, let's choose something that moves fast. That's always fun. It was Ridge Racer 2. I was never really very good at that. Spin out, split second. Oh, we'll do split second. How's that? Split second was a fun game. Now I did end up buying a lot of these, and I will admit there were times where I would go to GameStop, I would buy the game, the UMD cartridge. I would literally go back out to the car, drop it in, go in the PSP filer, copy the entire game as an ISO file onto the memory stick, test it, make sure it worked, and then go back in and return the game in like 25-30 minutes. I did it a few times, I'm not gonna lie. And I guarantee I wasn't the only one. But I've bought so many parts, so many systems, so many games for this that, what, I'm almost owed? No, I'm not kidding. They don't owe me anything. Probably not the way you should be doing games. So, all right, I'm going to bump up the brightness. We're going to do single player here, season. I'm not really worried about this. All right, I'm going to turn this and let you guys see what's going on here. Now, hopefully that's not too blurry for you. And we'll choose this one. I don't even remember how to play. Here we go, first person view. Now remember, this is in full max CPU, so 333, 166. Let me get back out of that view. Sorry, I don't know how to drift. This is how long I've been playing this game. Oh. Now the thing is that it uses the analog stick, which kind of gums up after a little while, unfortunately. God, if I knew how to drift, that might be fantastic. Let's see if this is how you do it. Ah, there it is. Ooh, this might take some control. Well, that definitely didn't work, did it? So, left trigger, I believe, is what it is. So yeah, that is, it's not the most graphical game. I actually did like Burnout as a series. Car crashing and other things, they had a little bit better graphics. The gameplay felt a little bit more polished and involved. And of course, I had the one game everyone just goes absolutely ape crap over here. Final Fantasy Crisis Core. Final Fantasy VII. Still a good game. I can't get over this game. I love it. Not as much as I like some of the newer titles. Obviously, it's an older type of game. The graphics aren't quite as good. But for what it is, and being literally a handheld portable system, yeah, it's pretty fun. I actually find myself playing this more often than I think I'd like to admit. So we're going to load up my game here. See how long, whoops. Let me do that again. I want to see how long I've been playing this. I think this might be like my second or third playthrough now. Alright, so I have 13 gigabytes of free space on this card. I could put on some more games. Let's see. 1.1 gigabytes for Final Fantasy, for Crisis Core, as the size of a game. Now that's compressed from ISO to CSO. That's a compressed object instead of a standard uncompressed. One thing I have not tried, and I might do this, is to update the games. I'm sure there's probably updates here. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and I got to turn on Wi-Fi. See, it's kind of an older system. But yes, we're going to go ahead and try this again. So we're scanning. So I actually would need to go in and enable older Wi-Fi on my router, because this takes WPA-PSK with TKIP. So my current AES encryption setup is not going to work here. There are a couple others. Baby Network has it. It's not me. Signal strength is only 17%. Dude, it's downstairs. Someone else, Netgear 26, I don't know where they are, is 30%. Okay, that's might be my neighbor other side of the window over here. So I will get to that. That's kind of a cool idea though. So I'm going to check for updates. But I'm going to go through the list of games that I've got on here. It's almost going to be time for bed, I think. Alright, so we have Ridge Racer 2, Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. That was the very first game I ever got for this thing. MX vs. ATV Reflex, Motorstorm Arctic Edge, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite, which, believe it or not, is actually still pretty good, even compared with current Monster Hunter games. There's Dirt 2, the original Ridge Racer, so Ridge Racer 1, White Knight Chronicles Origins, Wally, right? Come on, you gotta like Wally. It was actually a pretty good game. Valhalla Knights 2, Super Stardust Portable. That is a pretty interesting game. I'll see. I show you that screenshot, the little animated thumbnail it's got. Yeah, it's a pretty graphically intensive game. I really wish I could get some gameplay off of this. I'm gonna see if I can do that. I'm gonna try. Split Second, we just saw that a minute ago. Spin Out, Phantasy Star Portable 2. Which Mega Man is this? Mega Man Powered Up. I was always a Mega Man fan, especially on Game Boy. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep Final Mix. It was always a confusing game, but it was interesting gameplay. God of War Chains of Olympus. Believe it or not, it actually looks pretty good. I will say that is the one game on this system that has always choked it up. No matter how I overclock, how I tweak it, I can put in plugins. No matter how I do it, this game seems to lag in certain places, almost to the point that it's unplayable. And at other times, it's perfectly fluid. Like, I don't understand how would this have possibly worked on a regular system, let alone my maxed out system. I don't know. But, I mean, it does play, so I guess that's halfway decent. Flat Out Head On, that car crashing game, that's kind of fun. Final Fantasy 3. Dissidia Final Fantasy, well, Dissidia 12. It's not Final Fantasy 12, but it's the Duodecium, or Duodecium. I don't know how you say that. Then we got Final Fantasy IV, The After Years, or Final Fantasy IV and The After Years. They're actually two things. Final Fantasy Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII. Every Extend Extra, which was a really odd game to begin with. I think it was kind of like Super Stardust Portable, but it was kind of weird. So Burnout Legends, Burnout Dominator. I've got something there that's corrupted. I don't... 320K, I don't know what that... Oh, that's the backside of... that's the 150 kernel runner for PSP Filer. Gotcha. So yeah, PSP Filer and PSP Filer 6.6, plus the 150 kernel version for that, I believe. 96K, yep. The PSP Update 6.61 installer for minimum edition for the ME version. I still have that loaded on here. Despertar del Cementerio I think this is V3. Doesn't say 5.1, I believe that was version 3. Which is also used for installing the hooks that are needed to get custom firmware running on the PSP. IR shell, which in case you're wondering, this is IR shell here. And this allows you to use the infrared sender receiver thingy here on top. You can actually control televisions with it. You can send it codes. You can transfer information back and forth between PSPs using infrared. There's a number of actually pretty cool things that you were able to do with this that for some reason just never happened, that Sony just never used. It just wasn't a thing. I don't know why. But another thing I used to use that for was I could set an alarm, and I'd use it to wake me up in the morning, and then as I was going to bed, I could set a playlist. It would play a certain number of songs or play for a certain length of time, and then it would shut off. The whole system would go into a sleep mode, and then in the morning it would come back on at the designated time and turn the alarm on to wake me up. That's how I used to go to work. I mean, I use the crap out of this thing, okay? So that's one IR shell. Here is a second IR shell here. So you have one there and one here. I believe IR shell 384, that IR shell is 96. Okay, so yes, I do have the updated version. And obviously UPT. I don't think I had any videos on... Oh yeah, I did have a video on here, didn't I? Okay, so we'll show you this. This is from Tekken Blood Vengeance. Let's skip to later fight down here in the end. I'll show you this. turn that light off. I'm trying not to get everything in the background. It's kind of difficult. I'll let you watch the end of this fight. Here we go. All right. I always did like that fight scene. That was pretty good. Okay, so then I have a couple things of music, and you remember the video player. There was a camera. I do have the camera. I think it's in my box downstairs as well. So yes, I do have a camera for it as well. I don't currently have any photos stored on it. In case you guys are wondering, here is what my system information looks like. Jeez, this thing is not going to focus, is it? So we are at 661 ME 2.3. Nickname is Pandora. It's a Pandora Battery, and I have the MAC address completely hidden as well. So yeah, this is this is a pretty cool system. This is still currently not my favorite, but it's a damn good dose of nostalgia. It really is. So, I'm looking at my preview over here to make sure that everything's running, and it looks like it's okay. It's halfway decent. The lighting's not great here, but yeah, I need to recharge this too, and I had to kind of clean out these things that get kind of like your dead skin all up in the inside the button and everything. It's kind of gross. So yes, that's all I've got, I think, for right now. I'm going to pack up a few things here. So I'm going to pack up a few things. Rather than try and do all this, it's 11:44. I need to get a shower, get to bed. I have class in the morning. I just kind of want to do some streams. I want to give you guys a heads up on what's coming. As soon as I pop off of here, actually, if you guys want to hold on just a hairy second here. Let me put my system away here. I am going to check. I'm going to check something real quick. Still not going through. That's weird. All right. Well, anyway. So yes, I'm going to be checking out Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch, and with the help of this guy, the Elgato HD60S, I'll be able to, after I get a slightly better mounting setup here, I'll be able to use this to record gameplay and whatnot from the Switch in real time. I'll record it on the computer, or I will stream it. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do, but I'd like to be able to get that video footage from here, since I know I can, and get it up either to my Switch, either my Twitch account or post it here on YouTube. But I have to check the copyright sections in each of the EULAs there, so yeah, that's all I got for right now, guys. I know I don't have very many people watching, which is fine. I know it's late. I know it's not necessarily a regular part of my streaming process. It's not a regular video even, but it's what I've got. But I promise once I get a few more things and I get classes and some of the stuff I have to do for the neighbors, like mowing lawns and a couple household repairs and stuff, when I get some of that out of the way, I will be back and get more into the swing of the things here on my YouTube channel. I'm not done. Things kind of caught up with me for a second, but I will be back. So, I know nobody's watching right now. That's fine. Whatever, it is what it is. But for those of you that have watched, thank you. I've had a couple people follow me on Twitch as well recently. Just yesterday, I think I had 3 more people follow. It doesn't sound like much, but I'm just starting out. Get used to Fortnite. We'll see how that works. And yeah, so you can head over there to my Twitch account and watch some of my streams. Follow if you'd like. When we do Fallout 4 settlement building, stuff like that, give me a suggestion. I'll try to put something in there. Just check it out. See what I've got there and let me know. That's all I got, guys. I'm going to quit rambling on because not only am I tired, you guys probably are too. So, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time.